The Derrick Dixon lawsuit against Tyler Perry has taken on some new information, and the bit of information that it's taken on could twist this thing into quite the amalgamation of trouble for Tyler Perry. Now, if you remember carefully, that Mr. Dixon, working on the Oval, has filed a $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry for inappropriate sexual contact and coercion and promises to get him to a certain level while trying to get from him something that he did not offer, that being sexual favors. Now, if you remember correctly, it all started off on a private island, then it was at his home, and then it was at a villa, and all kinds of events where Tyler would tell him, if you want to go to the next step, this is what you got to do. Why don't you just let me in? All that shenanigans. Well, in the court filings, Mr. Dixon also entered text messages. One of those text messages that he said that Tyler Perry sent him was, "I was frozen." He texted this. "I was frozen." He had the power, saying no would have ended everything. The reason he put that out is because Tyler had texted him before saying, "What is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?" Now we're gonna be touching on something again. This is more for men to understand, because Mr. Dixon will get into something that is a little bit of a taboo subject for men when it comes to abuse. Okay, so just bear with us. Tyler also texted, "You are the rose, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be smelt or opened." Another text, "You want the success, but you're unwilling to give the vulnerability." Now, I can hear tons of people already saying, "Listen, that's not advanced, that's not crazy stuff. He's just having a conversation with somebody." I can get that excuse. I hear you. Doesn't make sense, but I hear your excuse. I hear it. But telling that to another man in the manner that you do is very inappropriate, much less if this person is already experiencing certain things from you that he does not want. Now, in the days that led up after this event and after he had filed a lawsuit, there became obvious that some things were also getting done to Mr. Dixon from external sources that wasn't, apparently not necessarily unproven, that wasn't Mr. Tyler Perry. Those being death threats. Now, he said that he had gotten quite a few of them, and he reported them this month. He said that he received multiple death threats. A lot of it has been from people that he has no affiliation with, the people who he has affiliation with. And even when he comes to the public light, the public has been a mixed bag of reactions, to some people saying, "Shut up, you're lying," to others saying, "Oh, we're glad you're speaking out," to others, "Why you took so long?" This is what he said. This is why people, especially men, don't come forward. The threats, the judgment, but I couldn't stay silent anymore. This is a huge deal, because if he has text messages that seem to even suggest that Tyler Perry sent him a statement that seemed to insinuate that he was wanting something of a nature that's a relational or sexual from him, he may have more than a case. He may have grounds for winning this thing all the way together. June 13th was when the complaint was filed. June 14th is when Perry's team responded. And right now we're waiting for a hearing to be scheduled. None of that has been set up, so there's nothing further past that. However, what this really is showing is that we hear a lot of women that say they have been assaulted and they wait years because of shame. What's never hardly talked about is the male side of it, because while most of us will never go through a man approaching us for certain favors, it does happen. And I cannot imagine if it's more insulting or embarrassing for a man to come forward to say a woman did it, or if it's more embarrassing for a man to come forward and say a man did it. Both are pretty, one shows you're weak and one shows that you're weaker. So which one really is the most damaging to a man? Both. This is why men don't ever talk about it. And when they do, they're told to man up. They're told, "What are you talking about? You could adjust, you could adjust, you could adjust," or "Shut up," which is what he was saying about the mixed reaction from the public. If this really indeed did take place and this new information about death threats have come forward, Could it be that Tyler Perry was issuing, at least coercing people to issue that in order to silence him and shut down this lawsuit? Because if you're afraid for your life to take things forward, you might shut it down and end it and just withdraw your plea. Somebody as big as Tyler, someone with as much clout as Tyler, could very well be behind that. Could. We're not saying he is. But on the other side, he could also be behind the insults of saying that, well, you're not a man and you need to shut up. And this embarrassing side of it to also try and shut him down. Could be a twofold approach, out of fear, out of embarrassment. Men don't normally come forward with abuse claims. They try not to because we're told by society that we need to buck up, shut up, take it. You're a man, shrug it off, whatever you got to do, but do not talk. And like I said, not many of us go through it, but the number is high enough that the majority of these cases do not go answered. There's no justice brought to them, and many of these men go through emotional damage that eventually lead them to only one option that they usually take, that nobody cares even when they do that. And they end up removing themselves from this planet in the most crazy ways sometimes. Some of them either do it by cop or some do it themselves, because embarrassment is one of the number one enders of men. It really is. Whether that be you can't support your family by jobs, you can't perform for your wife, you can't be a good father. All these crazy little topics that enter a man's mind that society has told him you cannot address. Most men are incapable of keeping it all in. And eventually they snap. Some snap on themselves and some snap on society. Either way, we're told to shut up. So, in a lot of ways, this took a lot of courage for Mr. Dixon to come forward to state the things that he's stating under the context in which he's stating them, especially under the kind of fire that he's enduring. Because if the death threats are real and the insults are real and the ridicule is real, it has taken an awful lot for him to put his name and the events out to the public, enduring all that, because what he has said is that if he was to be quiet, this would still go on. It makes no sense. He needs to step up and speak. There was another guy, Christian something or the other, and you probably saw him on Instagram, and he kept saying that he had somebody that he knew and this, but he never gave names. And all of a sudden, he just disappeared. So you're seeing right now a tale of two different types of approaches: the instant reaction and then a pullback because you're not feeling the way you used to feel about it. And then a latent reaction, but a committed reaction to get to the bottom of what was affecting. We'll keep you posted on this particular case as we have already. If this goes to a hearing and discovery and all of that stuff, we'll be here to cover it because it could end up being big or not just, but bigger than the Diddy case, because Tyler Perry is, in my estimation, a little bit more worth of money than Diddy. He's in the billions now. So we'll see how that goes. But if it does go to court and the records that he says he has are indeed from Tyler Perry, well, let's just hope his team does better than the prosecution for the state on Diddy's case. We'll find out, see how that goes. As soon as we know more, we'll let you in on it.